Hey everyone, welcome back to channel where we dive into the fascinating world of coins and collectibles. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Today, we're talking about a coin that many Australians will recognize, the 50-cent piece from 1981. Now, Australian 50-cent coins have a fascinating history, and the 1981 coins are no exception. Australia's 50-cent coins were first minted in 1966, initially with a round design and composed of 80% silver. But this changed in 1969 when the coin was redesigned to the dodecagonal shape we know today, and the silver was replaced with a cupro-nickel alloy to make it more practical and cost-effective for circulation. The 1981 Australian 50-cent coin is an interesting year for collectors. There are a few reasons for that, and we'll dive into each one in this video. There were a couple of unique factors about the 1981 coin, including where it was minted and the slight variations found on coins from that year. The 1981 50-cent coins were actually produced in 3 locations: the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, as well as in mints in London and Cardiff. This was due to increased demand and limited local minting capacity, so the overseas mints lent a hand. Because of this, you'll find slight differences among the coins, depending on where they were minted. One of the most important things to understand with the 1981 50-cent coin is how to tell where it was minted. Each mint used a slightly different die, leading to small differences, especially noticeable in the Queen's portrait on the coin. These are called mint mark varieties. Although they're not actually marked with the mint location, it's more about subtle design differences. The 1981 coins produced in London have a distinctive longer neck on the Queen's portrait, while the coins from Cardiff and Canberra show a shorter neck. This difference can be spotted by experienced collectors and is one way to determine which mint the coin came from. So, now to the question everyone's asking: is a 1981 50-cent coin worth anything beyond its face value? The answer depends on a few factors, including the coin's condition, the mint it came from, and if there are any notable errors. Generally speaking, in circulated condition, the 1981 50-cent coins are fairly common. But things start to get interesting with coins that are in mint state or uncirculated condition. Coins in a high-grade, uncirculated condition can be worth a bit more, sometimes ranging from $10 to $20, depending on the quality of the strike and preservation of the coin. Rare error coins from 1981 can bring in even more. Now, let's talk about error coins. Occasionally, a coin will have a minting error, and this makes it more collectible. Errors might include things like die cracks, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets. If you find a 1981 50-cent piece with a noticeable error, you could be looking at a nice little find that could sell for $50 or more, depending on the error's visibility and rarity. In summary, here's a quick breakdown of what to expect with a 1981 Australian 50-cent coin. If it's circulated, you're likely looking at face value or slightly more. If it's uncirculated, it can range from $10 to $20. And if you're lucky enough to find an error coin, that's where the value can jump significantly. So how can you check if your 1981 50-cent coin is a special one? Start by examining the portrait of the Queen for the neck difference to see if you have a London mint variety. Then, use a magnifying glass to look for any. When it comes to valuing coins like the 1981 Australian 50-cent piece, condition is one of the biggest factors that can affect a coin's worth. Let's break down what the different condition grades mean for coins and how they impact value. Coins in this condition have seen extensive use and show significant wear. Details on the Queen's portrait or the Australian coat of arms may be worn down, and there might be visible scratches or discoloration. These coins generally only hold face value 50 cents but may sell for $1 or $2 to collectors looking for inexpensive or common circulated coins to fill gaps in their collections. Conditions still show some wear, but the details remain more visible. The Queen's portrait and coat of arms will have visible, if slightly smooth, details, but there won't be as much damage or deep scratches. Coins in this condition could be worth a bit more than face value, perhaps around $1 to $2. These are still considered common but have a bit more appeal for budget collectors. Have minimal wear, often limited to slight smoothing of high points, but the overall design remains crisp and clear. These coins can fetch between $5 and $10, depending on the level of remaining detail. XF coins appeal more to collectors, as they show less wear from circulation. Coins look nearly new, with only the slightest wear on the very highest points of the design. Most of the original mint luster is likely still intact. AU-grade coins may sell for $10 to $15 depending on demand because they're close to mint state, making them more appealing for collectors. Coins show no signs of wear and retain their original mint luster complete the higher the grade. The more perfect the coin surfaces. Coins in mint state are the most valuable for 1981 50-cent pieces, often ranging between $15 to $30 or more, depending on the exact mint mark, and if they're graded by a professional service. Errors add another layer to a coin's value. Some types of errors include die cracks, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets. Errors can happen on coins in any condition, but an error on an uncirculated coin will have the highest premium. Error coins in mint state can be worth significantly more, sometimes upwards of $50 or more, depending on the rarity and severity of the error. To look for fine details, especially around the high points of the design, such as the queen's hair and the emu and kangaroo on the coat of arms. Of the same year to spot signs of wear or damage. The 1981 Australian 50-cent coin has an interesting place in the history of Australia's currency. Let's explore its background, why it was minted in various locations, and what makes it unique among Australian 50-cent pieces. But the high silver content soon made these coins expensive to produce and led to them being quickly removed from circulation as the value of silver rose. Year 1981 stands out for 50-cent coins because of the need for additional minting capacity. Due to high demand for coins and the limits of Australia's minting infrastructure, the Royal Australian Mint outsourced the production of the 50-cent pieces to two other mints in the United Kingdom. As a result, there were three different mints producing the 1981 50-cent coins. The coins were produced using different dies, which led to subtle differences in the coins from each mint. These differences became a point of interest for collectors, creating a unique variation within the same year's coinage. Design featured Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, front, and the Australian coat of arms on the reverse, back. This has been a consistent design since the 50-cent coin's dodecagonal debut, making it one of the most recognizable Australian coins. The coins minted in 1981 are particularly interesting because collectors can distinguish between the mints through subtle design differences. While these differences are subtle, they're a fun challenge for collectors to identify, and they increase the appeal of the 1981 coins as collectible items. Due to the high volume of production across three mints, some 1981 50-cent coins have visible minting errors. Including these errors are rare but sought after by collectors, making the 1981 coin year even more intriguing. Error coins tend to carry higher value, especially if the error is well defined. While most 1981 50-cent coins are common and generally worth around face value in circulated condition, their collectability increases if they're in uncirculated or mint state, or if they feature minting errors or unique varieties. The 1976 Australian 20-cent coin. Now, this isn't just any 20-cent piece, it's part of a long history of Australian currency. Let's find out if you should be holding on to one of these, or, better yet, if it could be worth some extra cash. Spoiler alert, you might be surprised. First, let's get into some background on this unique coin. The Australian 20-cent coin first hit circulation in 1966, and its design has become iconic in Australian currency. By 1976, Australia was well into decimal currency, with this coin playing a huge role in everyday transactions. And for anyone who loves unique artwork, this coin has one of Australia's most recognizable designs. Let's talk design. The obverse side features Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Mackin. This portrait was used on many coins across the Commonwealth and shows her in her youthful, graceful appearance. On the reverse side, we have Stuart Devlin's famous platypus design. Devlin was an acclaimed Australian artist known as the designer with a magic touch for his beautiful and intricate work on Australian coins. Quick fun fact: the platypus design wasn't just chosen randomly. The platypus, native to Australia, is one of the most unique animals on Earth, famous for its bill, webbed feet, and egg-laying abilities. It's the perfect symbol of Australia's rich and unusual wildlife. Now, let's get into the numbers. In 1976, around 47 million 20-cent coins were minted. This number might sound high, but it's not the full story. While 47 million is quite a few, some factors make certain coins more valuable. There were no special mint marks or variations in 1976, but there's still a catch. If you're looking for a 1976 20-cent piece, pay close attention to the coin's condition. Coins that are uncirculated or have unique errors can be worth much more to collectors. Alright, Here's the part everyone wants to know about the value. How much is your 1976 20-cent coin worth? Well, it depends on a few things. The value of a 1976 20-cent coin varies depending on its condition. Coins in poor condition are typically only worth their face value, which is of course 20 cents. But here's where it gets exciting. If you have a 1976 coin in brilliant, uncirculated, or even just lightly circulated condition, it could be worth around $2 AU. Might be thinking $5. This is for a coin that originally had a 20-cent value. In numismatics, a 20-cent piece worth $5 is still a 25x return on its original value. Now let's talk about the real potential moneymakers, error coins. Some 1976 20-cent coins have printing errors or minting flaws, which can make them highly sought after by collectors. Examples of valuable errors include misstrikes, where the coin might look off-center or have doubled features, and die cracks, where visible lines appear on the coin due to damage on the minting die. These error coins can sometimes fetch upwards of $50 to $100, or even more, depending on how unique the error is. So if you come across a 20-cent coin with an unusual look, it could be worth setting aside and getting it appraised. How do you determine your coin's worth? Here are a few tips. First, examine the coin closely for any signs of wear or damage. Next, check for any errors or unusual marks. A simple magnifying glass can help you spot details you might otherwise miss. And of course, online marketplaces like eBay or coin selling websites are great for comparing prices on similar coins. That's the story behind the 1976 Australian 20-cent coin. It may look like an ordinary piece of change, but it holds a little slice of history and might even be worth a little extra cash if you're lucky. Whether you're an avid collector or just have a few coins lying around, it's all sure. Let's dive into the history of the 20-cent coin in Australia, focusing on its origins, the design, and its role in the shift to decimal currency. In the mid-20th century, Australia underwent a major transformation in its currency system, shifting from the British pound to a decimal currency system. This change brought new coins, including the now familiar 20-cent piece. Prior to 1966, Australia used a system of pounds, shillings, and pence similar to the British system. But this system was complex, especially as Australia's economy grew and global trading increased. The government decided it was time to simplify things, and in 1966, Australia adopted the decimal currency system. This was a historic event and a turning point in the country's financial history. The new currency brought coins and notes that aligned better with a decimal structure, using dollars and cents instead of pounds and pence. As a result, coins like the 20-cent piece were introduced to replace the older equivalent coins as part of the new currency system. The very first Australian 20-cent coin was issued in 1966, designed by Stuart Devlin, who became one of the most influential coin designers in Australian history. Devlin, known as the designer with a magic touch, was an internationally renowned silversmith and coin designer. His work for Australia remains iconic to this day, and his 20-cent design with the platypus became one of the most recognizable images in Australian currency. The 20-cent coin features the platypus, a unique animal that is only found in Australia. The platypus was chosen not just for its iconic look, but for its symbolic connection to Australia's biodiversity and unique wildlife. The design captures the platypus swimming with lines indicating movement, giving the coin a dynamic and natural look. Interestingly, the platypus was a perfect choice to represent Australia on the 20-cent coin. The platypus is known for its distinctive appearance, and it's one of only a few mammals in the world that lays eggs. This made the coin not only a functional currency, but a cultural ambassador of sorts. In 1976, 10 years after the introduction of decimal currency, the 20-cent coin was well established in Australian circulation. Years, but that doesn't mean there aren't valuable finds from this batch. The 1976 coin doesn't have a special edition or commemorative variant, but its production reflects Australia's stable economy and the coin's importance in daily transactions. While many were in circulation, finding one in pristine condition today is rare. Today, the 20-cent coin is still part of Australian currency, and the platypus design remains largely unchanged. Stuart Devlin's artwork has become so iconic that the design has remained a core part of Australia's coinage identity for nearly 60 years. Even as currency trends shift and digital payments become more popular, the 20-cent coin continues to hold historical and sentimental value. Collectors around the world treasure the 20-cent coin, especially unique ones from earlier decades. These coins are not only a piece of history, but also a reminder of the transition Australia made to a modern currency system. So, whether you're holding on to a 20-cent coin from 1976 for its potential value, its beautiful design, or just as a piece of history, it's a reminder of how far Australian currency has come. This little coin has seen it all: Australia's economic shifts, cultural transformations, and it continues to be a symbol of the country. You enjoyed learning about the history of the 20-cent coin? Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, do you have any interesting 20-cent pieces in your collection? Thanks for joining us on this journey through the history of Australia's 20-cent coin. Don't forget to check out our other videos on rare coins, history, and collectibles.